Welcome YouTube, this is Barrett from RProgrammingTutorials.com, and today we're going to be installing R and we're going to be installing RStudio. Now you probably know what R is because you're watching an R tutorial, but you might not know what RStudio is. RStudio is just a software that sits on top of R, and it's a little more interactive, it looks a little bit better, and it helps us accomplish things that we could accomplish in R but that are a little bit easier in RStudio. So I highly recommend RStudio. Many other people highly recommend it. And in all the tutorials that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using RStudio. So I recommend you download it if you want to follow along with me. So open your favorite web browser. I'm going to open up Chrome. And then within Chrome or within whatever web browser you're using, go onto Google and search R download. Press enter and you'll see the first result you get in the upper left hand corner is download R-3.2.2. If you're viewing this video at a later date and there is a newer update of R, then just download that. It should be very similar to what we're doing right now. Just follow along and you should have no problem. So I'm going to click on this web page and we see here that in the upper left hand corner it says download R 3.2.2. So I'm going to click on that, and in the lower left hand side this download is going to pop up. Now it's going to take a couple of minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and then we'll get back to the tutorial. Okay, now we have the R installer downloaded. We can click on it and it's going to pop up a window that asks us if we want to allow the publisher to make changes to this computer. We're going to say yes, and a window should pop up. Now it's going to ask us what language we want to install. I'm going to use English, but you can use Spanish, French, Italian, etc. And I'm going to press OK. Now you can safely click next, 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 and you can do this on, and eventually you're going to install R if you just keep clicking next. I'm not going to install R fully because I have already installed R on my computer, so I'm going to click cancel, exit setup. So if you followed along and you click next enough times, you should have R installed on your desktop. If it's not on your desktop, you can go, if you're on Windows, and you can search, you can type in R and R should come up. It came up right here for me. Now I have it on my desktop, so I'm going to go back to my desktop and I'm going to click on it. So it brought up R. This is R, and in R you can go to the R console and you can type in something like 5 plus 5. Press enter and it spits back out 10. This is where you're going to be working throughout the tutorials. Now we're going to download RStudio, so you're not actually going to be working in R if you follow along with me, but this is just, I wanted to open up R just to show you what it looks like. Now there's a bunch of other things you can do in here. You can create a new script, which just allows you to write a bunch of R commands at once, like 5 plus 5, 4 plus 4. Then you can highlight them, go to run line or selection, and it runs both those lines. But we will be doing all of this in RStudio. So we're going to exit out of R. We don't want to save our workspace, which is just what stores our variables. And we'll learn about variables later, so don't worry about that. But let's download RStudio. Now you'll notice I already have RStudio downloaded, but I'm just going to show you how to do it if you don't have RStudio already downloaded, which you probably don't since you're downloading R right now. So we open a new tab. We're going to search in Google RStudio download. I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to press enter again because it didn't pop up. But you'll see the first result says RStudio, download RStudio. And this is on RStudio.com. So that's the correct link. We're going to click on that. We're going to wait for the page to upload. And here we go. So if you scroll down, it's going to say installers for supported platforms. I'm on a Windows, so I'm going to click on Windows Vista /7/8/10. If you're on a Mac, you click on Mac. If you're on Ubuntu, you click on Ubuntu. Fedora, but I'm going to click on Windows. So I click on that. It starts downloading. It's got a couple of minutes left, so I'm going to pause the video and then we'll resume and we'll figure out how to run RStudio. Okay, so now we have RStudio downloaded. We're going to click on the download and it's going to pop up. It's going to ask me if I want to allow the publisher to make changes to this computer. I'm going to say yes. And the installer should pop up. So I'm going to click next, next. And instead of clicking install, since I already have it installed on my computer, I'm going to click cancel, but you would click install. I'm going to say yes, exit the setup. And now you should have it on your desktop. If you don't, go to your files, search RStudio. It's right here for me. I'm going to exit out of this because I already have it on my desktop. And now I've opened up RStudio. It's going to take a second to upload. You'll see it's uploading. And here it is. So what you'll notice, it's pretty similar to R. It's a little nicer looking, a little user-friendly, a little more user-friendly, I should say. And here's the console. So in any future tutorials, this is what you want to focus on until we start branching out. You just want to say, like if I say type in 5 plus 5, type it into the console, it's going to spit out 10. If I say type in 4 plus 4, it's going to output 8. This is what you're going to be working in mostly for the first couple of tutorials. Okay? Now there are other things. You can go over to here and you can create a new R script, which we've already kind of explained is just like, you know, a file to put in a bunch of R code, like 4 plus 4, 5 plus 6, 1 plus 1 plus 1, and then we can highlight it, run all the code. It runs all the code, but we're going to X out of that script and we're not going to save. And so yeah, here, this area, you know, there's plots. If I plotted something, then it would show up here. There's packages. We can install packages. We'll talk about what packages are in future tutorials. They're basically just a bunch of functions or interfaces that people who use R write, and then they allow you to do certain things. Like there's a package called ggplot2, which allows you to do these really amazing looking plots. And so in future tutorials, we'll be talking about that. But right now, you just need to know that basically the console is what we're going to be working with for the first few tutorials. There, we can see plots over here. Here's our global environment. If we create a variable, we're going to say x equals 5. We press enter, and then we see the x pops up, and we have the value 5. We'll cover variables down the road, but for right now, you just need to know that the variables will show up over here. We type everything over in the console, and so that pretty much concludes this tutorial. We've downloaded R, we've downloaded RStudio, we found out what the console was so that in the next few lessons we can work in the console. We've seen the global environment, we've seen where the plots show up, and you know, beyond this tutorial, I hope you subscribe to the channel. It would really make my day. I really appreciate that sort of thing. And check out RProgrammingTutorials.com. It's a great website with a ton of articles, and it's going to have an ebook up there which has a bunch of practice problems and solutions and links to content which will help you solve those problems. So it all goes hand in hand. You know, we're creating this whole educational value that you really need to tap into. It's not just this YouTube series. So check out RProgrammingTutorials.com, subscribe to the channel, And I hope you have a great day, or whatever time of the day it is. I don't care if it's night, morning, or in the afternoon. Check out the site. Check out RProgrammingTutorials.com, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.